Alright guys, welcome back to the GSTL, where Dragoons research, or Protoss research, Singularity Charge for their Dragoons. I went to get some water, and I came back and I was like, I'm like having a crisis, man. I'm like, alright, so I gotta alt-tab and look this up. And like and I was actually about to say I need to look up Singularity Charge, and then I'm like, Singularity Charge, that's what it is!
Ah, Eureka.
Oh man, like I was actually like...
You look relieved.
I was freaking out.
Yeah. Oh, I also want to clarify my earlier statement about Lando's friend who sits in the Millennium Falcon with him. He is a Celestin. I was told that on Twitter, and I remember that when I saw it. And his name is Yen Nub. It's actually his name. So there you go.
Well,
He's
now
got a
we
great
know.
Vest. And set 3, Tal'Darim Altar. Mouse Thorzane versus MVP Guinea Pig. This should be a pretty exciting game, Wolf.
Yeah, it should be. I mean, every time we see a random player in the GSL, it's such a rare occurrence. Yeah. Especially to see a random player at this high class.
Yeah, this guy is like legit, man. He's really good. So, we're going to get right into the game. Here at the GSL Team League, it is Jupiter Day with Wolf and Doa. Thorzane versus Guinea Pig. Who's going to come out on top? Up here at the top left part of the map, Tal'Darim Altar, we have, again, our yellow Terran player from F.United. Also plays for Mouse Sports. He is
F.United, Thorzane.
Thorzane. There he is. Looks very focused. Thorzane, 0-2 today. Thorzane, all kill. Oh, yesterday. I see. I missed the top of that sign for some reason. I don't know why. Our Zerg player, spawning as Zerg, I should say, in the top right part of the map, it is MVP.
MVP Guinea Pig.
Let's start to say his name, and I'm like, oh, I can't, so I just like stretched out the last letter.
Well, the funny thing about that sign is that it's actually wrong. Thorzane won his first game.
Yeah, that's right. He actually didn't get. He didn't get 2-0.
He got 2-1.
2-1. Yeah. Yep.
Well, so we do see that Guinea Pig is spawning as Zerg.
Yeah.
For that reason, of course, the opener for Thorzane is going to have to be kind of ambiguous. He's going to prepare something that works for all races. He's going to go ahead and scout pretty quickly after his barracks start. Looks like it was going to go for a 1-Rax expand. You can do that in any matchup. In some matchups, it's harder than others to pull it off. But on this map, it's a pretty good map to do a 1-Rax expand.
Yeah.
And Guinea Pig, of course, going hatch first. Almost ridiculous for him not to. He's playing random.
Well, he knows he's not going to come under like any sort of really early barracks timings.
Plus, it's Tal'Darim.
Doesn't know he's Zerg. Yeah, it's Tal'Darim as well. So, yeah, I mean, and they picked this map for a reason too. This is a great map for a random player. Gives you plenty of time to set up, whatever opening you really want.
Spawning pool going down, of course.
Yep.
Now, what Thorzane's going to have to decide here is whether or not he wants to make his commands on the inside or the outside. And he's going to choose to make it on the inside because if it were a Terran or Protoss player, if it were a Terran or a Zerg player, it could be quite vulnerable. If it's another Terran player, things get really nasty if he tries to send Marines over your base. And when you're playing against a random player, you never really know what's going to happen. You have to be very careful, play very safe.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people peg random players as being kind of cheesy, kind of all-in-ish. And Guinea Pig just isn't like that. He likes to play for the long macro game, and he can do it.
Well, his SCV just ran into a drone, so now Thorzane's absolutely sure what race he's playing against. Adds his 2 gases immediately. Probably going to complete this wall off pretty soon as well with an add-on.
Yeah, I would imagine. That's kind of one of the nice things about playing random, too, against Terran is that you kind of force them to have to at least start a wall in, which if you end up being Terran or Protoss is something that you can kind of abuse in certain circumstances. So there's a lot of
the most difficult matchup to play in random versus random is, brace versus random is Protoss versus Protoss when your opponent is random. Zerg versus Zerg is pretty hard as well because you're not really sure. If you make one mistake, you can lose. But in Protoss versus Protoss, if you make your gateway at the wrong time, you lose. That's just how it is, man. That's why I actually despise playing against random players. When they spawn as Protoss, I'm like, oh, you. They can 2-gate proxy you, man. Anything could happen. You're walling off. Your gateway is exposed at the front. It gets nasty.
Yeah, that actually is really hard. I play random on NA now. It's fun.
How's that been going for you?
Just a lot of fun. I don't know. I just mess around on NA. I just do weird stuff. I don't actually.
Well, it's always fun to do that sometimes.
Yeah. Well, it's good to have an account you can just kind of have fun on,
Yeah.
SCV. Oh, he actually got a little bit farther in.
Yeah, he almost turned that corner.
Yeah.
Roachborn is not spotted.
Nope.
So, by the looks of things, Guinea Pig wants to put on a little bit of pressure with that Roachborn. Thorzen has to be very careful about this. He is going 2 factories behind as well.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised if he decided to go mech. That said, though, we did see in his games yesterday that he actually went, largely Marine tank and played pretty well. I mean, that first game, once again, we keep talking about how safe Thorzen is, and that can lead to a little bit longer, a little bit slower games. But if that's what it takes to win, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, definitely so. Well, kind of curious to see what the Roachborn is really going to mean here.
Yeah.
He is going for Blue Flame, so the Roaches can be used for defensive purposes. Spore Crawlers are being made just for the possibility of Banshees, 1 at each base. Not too uncommon to see. Looks like he's going to get a little bit aggressive with some of these Roaches, but I think for the most part he just wants to catch Hellions with them if they appear, because obviously right now the trend is Hellions.
Yeah. Pretty much a lot of Terran players in Korea right now, and pretty much everywhere, just going for really fast Blue Flame Hellions. And Thorzen is going for Blue Flame Hellions, but he's not going, really, really fast Blue Flame Hellions. Just kind of going to be something that augments his army. And we do see Terran players kind of mixing that into the standard Marine tank a little bit more lately. Mixing in some of those Hellions to micro against the Banelings and the Zerglings. It can help out a lot.
And this Marine is going to take a little bit of hits. This is actually really cool how he's able to pressure here. When you have a ranged unit against Terran, it actually really hit. The fact that he has a wall up ends up hurting him a lot of the time. He can't close the distance.
This is the nice thing about going for those couple, early Roaches. You can kill the barracks, you can kill the supply depot or SCVs.
I'd like to see him attack the tech lab rather than the barracks because it has less hit points, and it's more important to take that one out because Stim is being researched there. But oh well. He's going to poke at this barracks. He's forcing repairs. He's forcing SCVs offline. In fact, was able to target an SCV down. Call down supply used by Thorzen. We saw it on TV. Not embarrassing.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some all-ins that kind of rely on calling down supply, but obviously this is not one of those cases. Just kind of getting
no, it's not.
A little bit distracted. Yeah, it's the 2-base Blue Flame Stim Marine all-in. With the supply drop.
Check out the production tab. If you look at it, you'll see there's a Hydralisk den in production.
Yeah, there is.
That's very weird.
Yeah, you don't see many Hydras in TVZ. They just die to so many things that Terran has so quickly. And,
they just don't have any armor. They're basically like, people call them a glass cannon. Meaning that it's very powerful but very fragile at the same time.
That's a good description, yeah.
People call Void Rays glass cannons for that reason as well. Colossi are not so much a glass cannon because they're not vulnerable except when there's Vikings around, for example.
Yeah.
Siege tank, again, not a glass cannon. Very beefy unit.
So I'm really interested to see if he's actually going to be able to use these Hydras to do anything. Here come the Hellions right now, and he doesn't want to lose those Lings. Yeah, pulling those back right away. And a scan is going to reveal the Hydralisks, and Thorzen's got to be scratching his head a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, the Hydralisks, of course, in other matchups are used because they do a lot of damage if they're at the back where they're safe and protected. But what they don't do well against is Blue Flame Hellions, Marines, and Siege tanks, and that's what we're seeing here. They do well against Marauders. There's 2 of those in that mix.
Yeah.
The problem with Marines against Hydras is the Hydras can kill them very quickly. The Marines are very quick. They get in there, do a lot of damage. If there's so many of them, the Hydras can't target them down very quickly. It's the problem with the Marines.
Well, a lot of times if you see a Zerg player going Hydras in a TVZ, the Terran player will just usually move his Hellion somewhere else on the map and then come in from behind when the fight starts. Looks like these Zerglings aren't going to be taking down the rocks anytime soon.
The Roaches have something to say about that.
That's right, these are our rocks. Of course, we have switched over to the ladder version of this map, so there are rocks at the third.
Yes, this is the ladder edition. It has been for quite some time, actually. People ask me about that a lot.
Yeah. I was actually still a little bit surprised to see that. I didn't realize that it had been changed until a month ago. Taking out some creep tumors.
Oh, decided you didn't want the other ones, though.
Nope.
Baiting the Zerglings in. That was pretty nice.
Wow. Might lose a couple of Hellions, though, if he's not careful.
More Hydralisks being produced. He's got 16 Hydras. He's mostly hiding them, though, I've noticed. That's a Hydralisk.
The real Hydralisks were lurkers, though.
Oh, that was good. You took my terrible joke and you made it into a good one. I like that.
No. I just took your joke and I built on top of it. So together we made, like,
A double-decker joke.
A towering statue of joketitude. That's right. So here come the Hydras right now. Siege Tank's getting some fire here, and the Hydras are going to do a ton of damage. Where are the Hellions right now?
Well, he
needs those.
He actually, he didn't push forward with the Hydras to do the real damage there because there were so many Siege Tanks. The Hydras are so slow off of creep, it's very difficult to use them in this case. I was about to say you could spread creep with that Overlord, but that's kind of weird.
Not anymore. Now it's dead.
Thorzane actually is going to take not the base of the rocks because he couldn't destroy the rocks. It's too occupied right now. Going to fly it all the way down to 9 o'clock position.
Now the nice thing about the spawning positions in this map is that Thorzane, you know, if he wants to, can kind of take that middle upper area of the map and just kind of hold it and use that to kind of launch attacks from. He's going to go after these Zerglings. There's not a whole lot to do. Or he can do other than that. Oh, a lot of Zerglings dying. Zoom in for dramatic effect. So Hellions.
Oh, here come the Hydras.
Oh, it was just a distraction. It's a trap, Wolf. The Hydra's doing a lot of DPS, but is it going to be enough?
I don't think so. I think this is a bad attack by Guinea Pig.
Yeah, this is what happens. The Roaches just try to siege tanks, and then you've just got a bunch of Hydras. They don't do too well. I don't know, Wolf. I don't think the Hydras are a good idea.
I mean, what he's trying to do is use the Roaches to tank, similar to how you use Hydras in ZVZ.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, Roaches can beat Hydras straight up, but if there's a few units tanking, the Hydras do the extra damage at the back because they have better range. I think that's what he was trying to do to break that tank line, but the Marines they just mess everything up because there's so many of them and they do so much DPS.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, the Marines plus the siege tanks just own the Roaches so hard. It's hard to really give the Hydras the time they need to do the damage. You know, not to mention the Hydras are usually kind of bumped up against the Roaches, so they're taking splash damage as well.
It's tough.
There's a reason we don't see Hydras a lot in TVZ.
Well, people used to try to use them. It was funny back in the beta, and then the tank splash actually was even for armored units and light units. And then no one was using Hydras back then because it's impossible to use Hydras. The tank does so much damage, and back then it really was. Then they removed that and made it so light units didn't take the bonus. They made it so there was a different. You guys know what I'm talking about. There's a differentiation, 35 versus 50.
I know what you're talking about.
Anyway, so then Hydras still weren't used after that because they were just too slow off of creep. And you know, even after the siege tank changed, still not used. Yeah. Only I heard Dongri-gu has been trying to use them. I heard he used them in MLG. I didn't actually see those games. These guys are on the same team. Maybe there's some reason why there's a connection there. Hydras are going to shut this down, though. That's for sure.
Yeah, Hydras are good against this, as are Infestors. They take out medevacs very, very quickly. And yeah, I heard. I actually have not seen the finals for that MLG yet. I was on the plane. I just haven't had time to watch the VODs. I heard he used Hydras in like the final game of the finals or something.
Yeah, I heard he just. I just heard he used Hydras. That's all I heard.
Oh.
I know.
Just like hear all this stuff and we talk about it on the GSL. Then none of us have seen the VODs.
Just trying to take the knowledge that we know, that we trust.
That's right.
It's from trusted source. Dongri-gu use Hydras. Really?
Yeah.
Hive going up. Neural Parasite coming out here. He's going to try to break this again. I don't think this is a good idea.
Yeah, really, really nice tank spread from Thorzane right now.
The tanks just don't end, man.
Yeah, it's just going to be impossible for him to crush through this. Look at the Hydras. Look at them, Wolf. They're dying.
I mean, the siege tank has the same role as a Colossus in this case. As was like trying to use Hydralis against Colossi. Yep. It's just not going to work very well, especially off creep. The Hydras can't move. And what we're seeing here from Thorzane is very similar to what we saw from him yesterday versus Yu-Gi-Oh!, where he plays extremely patiently, he spreads his tank out. His tanks are spread extremely well, and then you don't know how many there are, and you just keep going, and you're like, oh, I broke through this tank line, but then there's more tanks behind, and there's more tanks behind those tanks. It just doesn't end.
It's like when you open those like little like Russian dolls up, and there's like another one inside. You just keep going, even though they keep getting smaller. There's still always like another one.
Yeah, man. And then inside there's like a peanut, and you're like, is this an old peanut? I want to try it.
Oh yeah.
That actually happened to me as a kid. My uncle used to always like put food in there. I'm like, well, there'd be like a Hershey's Kiss in those things, and I'm like, well, how old is this, man? Like, I don't know. You just pulled this out of your Christmas box.
A little bit dangerous, yeah. Yeah, you always have that candy, and your mom's like, we can use this next year, and you're like, I don't know about that, Mom. I think we should just eat it right now.
That's actually so true, man.
Yeah. All right. So Guinea Pig trying to find a way to work in, but Thorzane tank spread just too good right now. I gotta say though, the Infestors might change things. He's getting that Spire. He wants to go Hive Tech. He wants to get the Broodlords out.
Yeah, well, what could happen is if he can neural a few tanks and the Hydras can actually approach,
Yeah. that's a
then they
big
will
deal.
do sick damage.
Looks like he might be going for a flank here around the outside. And that's a bad idea.
It's just, it's an army that's so... It's like Thorzane's army is designed to beat a little aggression over here, not really a drop. He's trying to attack Thorzane with what I feel to be the army that's designed to destroy that army. I'm not saying that Guinea Pig's decision is irrational here. I'm just saying that it's very difficult to make this work. I understand his thought process is just too hard to approach with those Hydras off the creep.
Yeah. Well, he's trying to force things. Sometimes you do a strategy, the game kind of doesn't go how you kind of imagined it would, but yet you still kind of keep forcing it for some reason. I think and he's still making Hydras right now. I was about to say, I think we're going to see him. Actually, we're going to see him lose his hatchery right now.
That's what we're going to see.
Or maybe not. Some really, really good fungal growth from Guinea Pig right now.
Yeah, that was a great fungal, but he's losing so many roaches here.
Oh.
Meanwhile, oh my god.
Wow.
Can I back up? Can I
Coming in from behind. They came from behind.
I love it when you make that joke, man. I miss Star Wars so much. We make so many Star Wars jokes.
We'll have to watch that. We did watch Speed Racer. We've been talking about it all week.
That was so much fun.
Last night. It's a great movie.
Any Speed Racer fan should watch the Speed Racer film. It's very well done.
Yeah,
there's some kiddie parts in there, but I mean, there always are going to be. It's a kid's show.
It's fun.
So fun. Such a good series.
If you like fun, you'll like Speed Racer. If you don't like fun, you won't like Speed Racer. It's as simple as that. Twitter's going to be like, no, it's a bad movie. Oh, no.
Oh, look at this. This is actually a huge amount of units.
Yeah, bad engagement for Thorzane right there. He's going to lose absolutely everything.
On creep, Roaches and Hydras make a good team.
Yes,
They can approach the tanks very quickly. And the dropship's going to be taken out here as well. Supply very even for these guys. 153 for Thorzane, 149 for a Guinea Pig.
Now, at the moment, Thorzane is on more bases, although Dongragu, or not Dongragu, he's on the team, but he's not playing. Guinea Pig, rather, is taking another base down at the bottom of the map, interestingly enough. And I just saw Ghost Academy finish for Thorzane, I believe.
I didn't quite see that on the production map, but yeah, you're right.
Now, as our observer is showing us, he did see the Hive Tech. He knows that the Broodlords are coming. He's going to want to prepare for that. And I've got a feeling, Wolf, that he might decide to go Ghost instead of Vikings.
Well, it makes a lot more sense. He did get +1 ship weapons. I mean, that's almost done here. Yeah. But at the same time, I think you're right. I think that's a better choice. If you go for the Ghost composition, you can not only EMP the Infestors, but Snipe is good against everything in the Zerg army. Of course, every Zerg unit is biological, but these specific units, Hydras, Infestors, and Broodlords, are very easily snipeable.
That base isn't going to do anything at all. Thorzane dropping to take it out. Really curious to see if he is going to add on Ghost. I know I saw that Ghost Academy somewhere.
No, yeah, he has a Ghost Academy.
Yeah.
I checked it. He just hasn't added any Ghosts just yet. He's making 6 Vikings, though.
Yep.
It's difficult to use Vikings in this situation where they can get fungal and Hydras can take them out. That's why I was thinking Ghosts would be a better composition, but...
Yeah. Well, you know, like you said, they can snipe the Tier 3 units. They can EMP the Infestors. They can also snipe the Infestors.
Thorzane is such a patient player. He is taking more orbitals on the other side of the map. He's been controlling this game. He's been patiently pushing, constantly harassing the island bases. I say island, I mean just external bases out in the middle of the map that are far away.
You know what? He's actually like 20 supply ahead right now, too.
Yeah, and he's just been playing so patiently.
Yeah.
I think what we're going to see him do here after he gets a few more orbitals up, he's starting orbitals on the left side of the map, as you guys can see there. He may sacrifice some SCVs to be at max with a better composition. His resources are getting pretty high, too. He's at 1,700, 1,500 right now. And...
4 Broodlords out right now?
Yeah, these Broodlords are out, but there are more Vikings than Broodlords, and here they come. They've got +1 weapons, don't forget.
Now, the Hydras are going to be really good against the Vikings. That is something that Thorzane needs to take into account. His Ghosts have not reached the fight quite yet, I don't think.
Nope, not quite. 1 Broodlord does go down.
Yep.
Ghosts are on their way.
He's going to need those for Snipe. Thorzane, in the meantime, is going to try to take down the third base. Doesn't look like he's going to get it, but continuing to keep the pressure on MVP Guinea Pig.
He's trying to starve Guinea Pig. He hasn't moved forward onto the creep yet.
Yeah.
You can see he's actually sending units up to the north base right now. Just continues to be aggressive on both sides. Eventually he will whittle that hit points down the hatchery as he moves forward with his main army.
Oh, Ultralisk Cavern on the way right now for MVP Guinea Pig. That's exciting. And is Thorzane going to get this hatchery?
Does have
know,
+3
it's
weapons.
getting low.
He's going to get it, absolutely.
Nice.
Does get it. Infestors are being relocated now. Thorazane has a sensor tower, which is going to allow him to see whenever the units are moving back and forth around the area. Unfortunately for him, though, his Alnaga Watchtower grants almost the exact same vision, so it's not extremely useful, but he does get to see a little bit extra.
It's nice to have a little bit extra.
Yeah, just a little bit extra.
It's like
granted.
a super tower now.
He knows whether or not his little aggression on the left or the right is actually pulling the units away. He knows he can move his siege tanks up.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling.
Personal cloaking on the way for Ghosts, as we just saw there. And Thorazane is maxed out. I would be surprised to see him at all send in some SCVs, sacrifice some more units, give himself some more room for supply.
Scan goes off. Being very careful with how he deals with these brutes.
Oh, here comes the snipe on the Brood Lords! Or not. Thought he was going to. So the Vikings are doing a good job. One Viking did get neural parasited, but that ended very, very quickly. Wow, he may not even need those ghosts as much.
Yeah, I'm not so sure he will.
Infestors.
Nice usage of snipe there.
Wow,
Gotta be careful. I would actually want to split my ghost, because if you get one ghost knurled and then he EMPs the rest of your ghosts, that can get nasty, but that's very unlikely. It has happened before, though.
Yep. That's always fun to do.
Thorazane pulling ahead in supply here. He's basically choked Guinea Pig back into these bases. He's got external bases, but he can't get any drones over there, and Thorazane always finds them and kills them anyways before they can be used.
Yep. Yeah, Thorazane being really, really active on the map this game.
He's just so patient. Like, I've never seen a more patient player, I don't think, in my entire life. It's
really great to watch. I mean, some people might think this is kind of boring or whatever. It's really actually not. It's amazing to see how Thorazane is taking control of this game. I mean, he's being very methodical, very slow, and but yeah, the big thing is he's not being passive. You know, he's looking around the map, he's dropping, he's taking out expansions. There's a big difference between being patient and passive, and that's bad, and patient and active. And Thorazane is definitely a patient, active player.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's got these extra orbitals. He's constantly scanning, finding out where Broodlords are and killing them while he can avoid the Infestors at the same time. 5 Ultralists are about to pop out here. Let's see what they can end up doing. Snipe could be not too useful against that, but
it's pretty good. It's not bad against Ultras.
Well, yeah, he actually does have more ghosts back here. He's got 13 ghosts total. I eat my words, man. I thought he had like 6. He has 13 ghosts.
That's yeah. I mean, most Terran players wouldn't get this many ghosts, but this is a nice thing about having that many ghosts is that you can deal with Broodlords and Ultras. So even though MVP Guinea Pig is doing this tech switch, it really doesn't have that big of an impact on what Thorazane needs to do. It's brilliant, actually. It's really good.
Here we go. Ultra's running in, and he's not sniping any of them. He's actually been knurled here.
Oh, there's some snipes do go off, but is it going to be enough? I don't know. Well, where are all the ghosts?
Where are all the units? Thorzane's army is annihilated, losing everything. The Guinea Pig taking a huge supply lead here, but 2 cloaked ghosts do survive.
I gotta say,
at least they did.
Go a little bit differently.
Oh, I thought that was going to go a lot differently. These ghosts will be cleaned up now. Never say die.
Nope.
That's what the other ghost is actually saying. The dead one, I don't think he's talking much, man.
And
this ghost is so brave. He's chasing those Ultralists down. He's about to run out of energy.
He's a brave ghost. Thorazane isn't out of the game yet. He's actually dropping a bunch of Marines against 2 Ultras. Yeah, picking him up again. That would not have been a fun fight.
Well, the supply has evened again. Right now, though, 82 SCVs to 56 drones, so a lot of that supply lead isn't SCVs.
Yeah.
And
big Zergling counterattack down here at the bottom. There is a planetary, and he is going to put up some supply depots to protect that.
He's got to make Banelings to be able to kill these planetaries for the most part, or just send his Ultras over there when there are no units. And nice. Thorazane is blocking his planetary with supply depots so the Ultras can't attack it. That's really smart.
He's also getting high sec auto tracking and what I forgot the name.
It's just called Terran Building Armor.
Okay, I thought it was like some special name, but it's actually just Terran.
Well, Neo Steel Frame is the name of the bunker size increase, where you can put 6 units into the bunker instead of 4.
So, yeah, Thorazane again playing very defensive, very safe, and keeping right up with MVP Guinea Pig.
Another drop kills a hatchery in the south. And this is, of course, triggering Guinea Pig to attack.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is that Guinea Pig is basically out of resources. He has 1 base down at the bottom of the map, but it's not mining at all.
Yeah, Thorazane at 4,500, 1,500 resources. He's got so much saved up.
Yeah. So if Thorazane continues to play like he does, continue to kind of snipe off hatcheries, he could win this game. And this medevac is destined for a sad end.
Guinea Pig maybe overreacting. He spots his one medevac. He's got like all the units back up in his base.
Thorzane's going to use that to take a bit of a position on the map here again.
Looks like it. 4 ghosts in this army, 5 ghosts actually, a 5th one joining the fray here. I don't know though, Moletrap. This army looks very vulnerable to me right now. There's so many Zerglings on the map. Did I just call you Moletrap? Did I actually do that?
We're all doing
God.
it now. We're all Moletrap deep inside, apparently.
Oh, it's probably because I was thinking about how you called me
casted with Moletrap earlier.
I know, whoa.
Yeah, I've called you Moletrap.
That's all right. Well, hold that thought because no matter who we are, these guys know who they are, and they're...
That's right. This is gonna be. It's gonna be a challenge, like casting with different people at different times of the day.
I know, man.
All right,
it's all right though. It's a treat, actually.
It is. It's a lot of fun. I do
all right,
enjoy
some snipes going off here on Ultralist. Got to be very careful what you use your snipe on. Don't want to accidentally click on Zerglings.
No, he actually sniped a Baneling egg right there too.
That was
sniping some Overseers too, which actually supply blocks Guinea Pig.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
He like actually has the sense he's been counting them. He's like a card counter.
I've got exactly enough. And does he have enough to take this army? I don't know.
I don't think so.
Thorazane looking like he might just get crushed here. Snipes going off, but it's not going to matter.
Yeah, Guinea Pig crushes this army.
Yeah, there were a lot of Marauders there as well, too.
Where does he attack next?
Probably just the main. I mean, there's nothing that's going to be really stopping him right now.
Well, the problem with attacking the main is that there's bunkers there. There's like not a lot there, but he feels like there might be stuff there. He wants to attack the other bases. But the problem is with that, there's planetaries behind walls and walls of depots.
Yeah.
This game actually could go on forever until he runs out of money. Until, of course, Guinea Pig runs out of money. Well, he is almost out.
You know, Thorazane has most of his side of the map. How long that remains to be seen? I mean, I don't know. Not too long, probably. Looks like. Yeah, it looks like Guinea Pig is going to try to move in and take those bases. Oh, he does have to pull back to defend the drop, though. I'm like casting from your mini-map.
Oh, man, this is like so not going to work out. I don't know what else to say. It's like so many depots blocking. Going to repair that planetary immediately here.
Yep, the Banelings did allow the Ultras to get in there, but I don't know. I think he's got it. I think he's going to lose a lot of Ultras.
He is going to take it out, but he lost a lot of units in the process. The problem with Thorazane now is, though, a lot of his production facilities are over here, as well as his bottom left base that he's using.
Yeah.
And he's going to lose both of those.
Marines getting killed off by some Zerglings, as well as Thorazane is probably distracted with losing that other base. Here he comes. He's got a good amount of Marauders. If he can kite these Ultras, he can get back in this game. Here we go, kiting the Ultras extremely well. That is a giant pile of Ultra Goo.
Yeah, and we're starting to see that even though Thorazane lost his army several times, he was able to reproduce it because he has an economy, and Guinea Pig does not. Yeah. And, you know, we kept saying, well, MVP crushed his army, MVP crushed his army. But then the Guinea Pig is just like, well, even though I crushed your army, I can't afford to attack a planetary, and he did. Now Thorazane's like, well, I'm maxed out again. What's up with you? Where's your army? And Guinea Pig is like, I just don't have one.
Down to 6 o'clock, he's going to have even less. He's losing another hatchery.
One of his only 2 mining bases, the one at the top, has less than 1,000 minerals to its name.
Yep. Oh, look at that. Thorazane dropping some units on the Banelings, too, I think, to make sure he has less of those to face later.
Yeah.
Yeah, Thorazane's like 100 supply ahead right now. He's just kept Guinea Pig from mining for too long.
He's just playing the most patient game in the world.
Yep. It's going to be tough.
Guinea Pig's trying to tire him out a little bit. He knows he's probably lost this one, but he's just going to stick with it.
Yeah.
He's been doing a great job with his harassments, with his attacks. Thorazane is just... You can't actually just make him snap. You won't. He's too patient.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, is he going to be able to get this hatchery too? It looks like he might be. 3-3 is pretty good for Bio, I've heard.
Yep. That's that. Gets it. And he's
totally
worth the drop, but definitely worth it.
Yeah, this stage of the game, totally worth it.
He can remake those units in 2 seconds.
Yep. In fact, he already has.
Here.
Oh, big fungals, though. EMP on all the infestors. And a lot of units getting taken out by the Banelings. Thorazane losing his army again, more or less, but this time...
Yeah, but the problem is that the Banelings were lost. Even though they were used, they were lost, man, and now there's no Banelings left.
Well, you know what you see is each time Thorzane loses his big army, MVP has less units overall. He's down to just 60 supply. I mean, this game is basically over right now.
Yeah, Lings are trying to run across the map, trying to do a counterattack, but there are units waiting for them.
Yep, that's
we'll get a shot of it in a second. Over on the left side of the map, Lings trying to attack.
Left. Well, it's not that exciting. It's just Lings dying to breeze drop.
Yeah, this drop much more exciting. The last mining base and gets taken out.
If it were a normal game, we'd probably see GG right now, but this is a team league game, so MVP Guinea Pig might decide to stay in a little bit longer, like we've been mentioning.
Yes, entirely possible. Now, right now for minerals per minute income, Thorzane has 800 and Guinea Pig has 200.
Yeah, 54 harvesters, just 22 for Guinea Pig.
That's like minimum wage, man.
Hello, Ultralisk. Scan the Ultralisk.
The Ultralisk got Zerlings following it.
They're so cute.
You think Ultralisks are cute?
I think they are.
Have you seen one in real life?
Yeah, and it tried to kill me, but I managed to...
Ultralisk steps near you in real life, you fall over, you can't stand up, there's like a mini earthquake going on.
Not me, man. I've ridden the subway.
He screams, your ears bleed, you fall down, your bones shatter. You think those guys are cute?
They're cute. What can I say? I don't know. I love lamp. All right. So Thorzane just kind of trying to clean things up a little bit. It's like any other bug infestation, Wolf. It takes a while to clean it up, but the bugs don't have a chance.
They don't have a chance, man.
If you're a ghost, you'll just die in the middle of the creep.
Well, when the ghost dies, in this case for Thorzane, he just has to go back to the convenience store and get another bug killer spray.
That's right.
Because, I mean, he's got the money, he's got a steady paying job. The bugs, though, they don't have much income, they don't have much defense prepared.
Not really.
There's drones long distance mining, and that's all we've got. So Guinea Pig just going to try to tire him out. We're going to have another engagement here, and Thorzane is just being so patient, even though it's not necessary at this point.
Yep. Every time a ghost dies, a muted gets...
Look at these. Look at how he moves his units forward, so fungals aren't as useful as they could be.
Yeah.
And transfusion's going off on the Ultra, trying to keep that alive. It's like the last hope, but...
There can be only one! And now it's dead. All right. So, again, this would normally be where we see GG. And I think we probably will for GG. There it is, GG. And look at that, F.United Thorzane taking down his second opponent here at the GSTL. Yep. He's looking pretty pleased with himself right now.
F.United pulling into the lead.
Guinea Pig's like, oh, man.
I built Hydralisk, why did I do that?
I know. Big cheer for Thorzane. A lot of fans here. Wow. Man, if F.United somehow can take down MVP, that would be a huge
upset.
That would be, yeah. I mean, we're not like misusing the word huge here at all. We say that.
Thorzane said he doesn't need any of that water. He's already,
That's right.
He already just drank the tears of MVP Guinea Pig.
Thorzane, man, he just survives on like lightning and thunder, so he's fine. Thorzane. I feel like I want to say that translates to Thor's son, but I might be totally wrong.
I have no idea.
All the Swedish people will be like, oh, that's so wrong. But if it's right, they'll be like, oh, that's so right. Only they'll be smiling a little bit when they say it.
Well, actually, they'll just be like, you're just so lucky, you lucky guesser.
That's right.
You lucky guesser.
Hey, I know my languages a little bit. A little bit. None of them very well, but a little bit. Not even English. So here we are. Thanks for joining us today. This is the GSL Team League with Moletrap and Moletrap. Thanks for joining us.
That's actually just like all you can see is Moletrap, man. We like both think each other are Moletrap.
That's right.
And then like Moletrap shows up and we're like, hi, Wolf. And he's like, what? And then he like runs away
and like
grows his hair out and stuff and takes his glasses off. Grows taller.
John comes in, puts a bag of holding inside of another bag of holding. The world collapses in on itself, and that's the end. 2012 is coming up. We just kind of spoiled it. Sorry, that's how the world's going to end.
Someone's going to tweet at me like, please no world spoilers at the GSL. I'm like, I'm sorry, man.
That's right. But you know what?
You haven't been paying attention to the world by now. You should know.
When it happens, people should know. It's like they're like reading the paper. What? Spoiler alert, I was going to watch the VODs, and then the world ended first. Oh, well.
What happens if you read the newspaper that says the world's going to end? Like, there are all those like rumors going on the world's going to end.
That
you read
happens
a
like
newspaper,
every year, man. Somebody's like, the world's going to end.
This is the new world ends. You're like, whoa. What happened? Like, I thought the world was going to end. Like, someone's time traveling, and they read these newspapers, they get all confused.
I don't know. That happens to me a lot, like on the subway here. People come up and like tell me the world's going to end. Like, seriously, a guy will come up and he'll be like, oh, hey, how are you enjoying Seoul? Nice to see you. And I'm like, oh, someone who speaks English. That's great. I'm like, oh, it's great. I love this city and everything. Do you know the world's going to end? I'm like, well, I guess I better get going then. Don't have a lot of time left, but we're going to see who MVP is going to send out next. Who's it going to be? Are we going to see a Protoss? No, that is Noblesse, formerly known as Cute FOU.
Yeah. Bringing him out, wants to do some TBT battle with Thorazane.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. TBT has become very interesting lately. MVP coach, does that look confident to you, Wolf?
You know, I'd say it actually looks a little concerned.
I would agree. I think I was going to say he looks like he's sweating a little bit, but everybody is because it's really humid and hot here.
It's just a humid time in Korea right now.
So Noblesse, he didn't make it out of the round of 32 this season, or did he? No, he's still in Code S, but he didn't get knocked onto the up and down matches, I believe. Yeah. I'm trying to remember those matches. He's actually got a positive win-loss record in the individual GSL. That's a pretty big accomplishment.
Yeah, it's very difficult to really stay above 40 in that regard.
Yeah.
If you've stayed above 40, you know that you've been going up at the very least. Like, you've been advancing a lot.
You know, MVP, you know, you look at these guys, they've got so many solid players, you know? They don't have, like, the superstars like Nestea or MVP or something like that, but they just have a lot of good, solid players. So they're a lot like TSL in that regard.
Yeah.
You know, only they've got more of them, because TSL's kind of a smaller team.
Very true. Thorazane actually looks a little stressed. I would be worn out if I were him. He played.
Yeah.
The first game he played was. It didn't take that long, but that last game he just played was pretty long. That was a game dragger outer.
Well, game dragger outer.
That was a game dragger outer, man.
I agree. Fourth map is going to be Metalopolis. And, you know, just to go back to what you were saying, it's hugely about stamina. Wow, it looks like it says the GSSL there. GS Global Starcraft Super League, that's what it is. But yeah,
camera
it
move,
really
they heard you,
stamina.
now it just says GSL.
They can't hear me. The camera people can't anyway.
That's really cool, actually. I never noticed that it was like that before. Is that intentional?
Sometimes they try to like match it up so it looks like it just says GSL in the middle. It's so neat.
That is really neat. I never noticed that before. That's really cool.
So, does Thorazane have the stamina to win his third game in a row here in the GSTL? He's played against some pretty decent players.
Noblesse giving
like,
a
what?
smile there.
I'm decent? I'm like, yes, Noblesse, you're decent.
He needs some help, I think, with his equipment, most likely.
He's got problems. Never mind. He's like smiling. My mouse doesn't work. I don't know if I'd smile when that happened.
I wouldn't.
So we're going to take a moment to make sure that gets taken care of course, with the team league. A lot of players going in and out of the booths, Wolf. They've got to make sure that everything's set up the way they want it.
Yeah, if you have any issues with your equipment, it makes it very difficult to concentrate.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, there's also different things that people have to concentrate with. For me, for example, when I go to a new place to practice, I actually have so much trouble for the first 5 games I'm playing. I can't concentrate. I can't, I'm like, oh, and then especially if the hotkeys are wrong. Well, now Blizzard has everything set up so you
That's
can
cool.
save
I like that a lot.
I really
actually.
like that.
Yeah, nice job, Blizzard.
Because every time I go on someone else's computer, I mess all these settings and stuff. It's like, and then they get mad. They're like, well, you changed my hotkeys. I'm like, sorry. But now it doesn't have to worry about that stuff. But, even my mouse pad location, I'm almost as bad as Flash. I start taping down my mouse pad and getting the ruler out and stuff. And I use my keyboard flat. If people have their keyboards propped up,
I don't like that either.
I don't like when the keyboards are propped up.
Too, yeah.
Flat is better for me.
Most keyboards are good. Yeah, the one I'm using right now kind of has that curve anyway. So, yep, that's the worst. The
what
worst
keyboard
thing is,
are you using right now?
I'm using a QSEN DT35 actually. Yeah,
I talk a lot about these keyboards. They're very good.
They've been around for a long time.
They are disappearing.
I've heard about these things. I had to try one. It's actually really comfortable. It's pretty cool.
I just want to get the word out about that keyboard because it's awesome. I don't use it anymore though because I'm using a Razer Black Widow now.
They're going the way of the dinosaur.
They are, man. I went with you to Technomart to get one, and the price had increased, and they looked like we couldn't find them anywhere. It was before we found 5 or 6 of them. They're a few left. I'm like looking around, I'm like, don't make it anymore. There's a QSEN DT something else.
It's like a newer version.
But it's not as good.
I don't know. I always end up going back to like Razer keyboards. I'm not just saying that because they're one of our sponsors.
They are one of our sponsors.
Yeah. But I don't know. I just like them. It's just me.
There are a lot of good keyboards out there.
Yep.
And for those of you guys who don't think it makes a difference, try borrowing one of your friend's keyboards sometime.
It makes a huge difference.
And then you will understand. You'll be like us, and you'll try to go back and use an older keyboard.
Well,
and you'll be like, I just can't use this.
It's like any other sport, you know? I mean, if you use shoddy equipment, you're not going to have the best results, you know?
That's very true.
Anyone who plays like pool or something and they need to have a good pool cue, it's just like needing to have a good keyboard and mouse. So, yeah. That's our speech upon...
That's our spiel.
Good gear. So if you have bad gear, get good gear.
Now, another thing you guys should mess around with to improve your StarCraft is hotkeys.
Yeah.
Try changing your hotkeys. If you have a hotkey that frustrates you, like you're like, oh, it's really hard to press this key. Like, for example, for me, that was the Immortal key. Pressing I, that's kind of far. I set it to R now. I press R to make Immortals because that's really close.
It's got an R in the name, too. Makes sense.
Yeah. So,
and if you're not using hotkeys at all, do it. Stop clicking.
Use your hotkeys, learn. Yeah. And so the easiest ways to improve at StarCraft is to learn that, I mean, everyone knows how to attack, but when you want to research zergling speed, if you press M instead of having to click on that every time, or if you use grid, I don't know, I guess it's probably just
Q. Faster. I use grid. I'm actually one of those guys.
So it's probably Q for that, I would guess. But anyway, if you just learn, it's actually if you've never used hotkeys before, you should use grid because you can learn so fast.
StarCraft 1, but then I actually ended up choosing grid in StarCraft 2 because I was like, I kind of like that I have like everything in one place. So I micro my army to like 1 through 3, and then so T is attack moving grid, so I can just rock my hand back and forth to do that. And then my buildings are like 4 through whatever, and then your building stuff is on the left side, so I can like rock my hand that way to build things and rock it that way to like do my unit movement. So
I mean, basically,
I really like it. It's all the personal preference.
Make sure that if you're just sticking with the default, I really recommend getting out there, messing around with the hotkeys. Go to your hotkey menu, check out grid, look at all these things. If you're lefty, just look at these things because you can improve your gameplay so much if you have a setup that feels comfortable to you.
Well, Blizzard's done such a great job with this game, too, of letting you customize it to, like, ridiculous levels. You know, I mean, I have some stuff, like backspace, normally changes between your main buildings. I mapped it to my mouse button.
I use that on the tilde key on the edge, so...
Yeah. I actually pop out my tilde key. I pop out that, I pop out the caps lock and the Windows key, and... on my green keyboard, I pop a little Hangul key on the left side. Looks like we're about to get started.
Yeah, looks like Noblesse is finally ready. Can he take down Thorzane? He's on a roll. Let's find out. The map is Metalopolis. I am Wolf. With me is Joa. Doa? I'm just messing with you.